you think it's possible for me to lease the company? And I would like to sign as much as a 3-year lease to start with, and
That property insurance.
yes, I've already checked into the insurance.
Protect. And I think part of what we want to do is kind of keep that property, you know.
And I understand, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Harvey, I was saying that, I know
The city will have a dinner at the, the work day, at the Evans Building. I'm not. And other citizens throughout the city, on my program that I run. And that's pretty much I got. Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, council. You had something else, Councilwoman Thomas?
Yeah, and thank you, Councilman Johnson, for saying what you said. Also, I would like to say this too. Mr. Ash was a very close, friend of mine. When I first came into office, Mr. Ash has supported me in anything that we have done in the city. Selma needs to know that and recognize that, he took a major part in Ward 7 and making sure that if I called him or I needed his support, he was always there and he would always call. And give me a call and ask me, Councilwoman Thomas, if there's anything that you got going on that you need support. So I just want to say this to his family. He was always was care about doing things to help us out in the city.
Our condolences and deep sympathy to the entire Ash family. As we all know, that Selma lost a very good civic-minded human being who did a lot to show love and help to others. So let's keep all of his family lifted during this time. All right, let's move on now to our mayor's report, the attorney's report. Mayor's report. Okay. All right, well, I do see our attorney here, so perhaps we'll go ahead and let him.
Council President Young,
Yes, ma'am.
the mayor is en route to the council meeting. If Attorney Madison wants to start, he can, because I don't know if he wants me to present his report. He didn't give me those instructions. So if Attorney Madison wants to go first, he can.
All right, we'll go ahead and proceed, Attorney Madison.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Taylor. Thank you, President Young. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the council. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance in the council chamber and listening audience. My report is 8 planned items and 1 unplanned item that was brought to my attention as recently as yesterday and this morning. And I'll get into that one last. The Buckeye Avenue renaming initiative is at a point where the application currently in force, remember I submitted proposed application, but the council has yet to deliberate or vote on that. So the current application process for renaming includes a provision for a canvassing of the street that an individual is seeking to have renamed by employees of the city of Selma who are then to return those results in a sealed envelope to the clerk's office, and the clerk and the attorney have been tasked with bringing that information forward to the council. The individual seeking to have Buckeye rename Ms. Sheila Evans had already done some canvassing, but after I twice reviewed the application, it calls for the city's doing that. And I imagine for the sake of ensuring that everybody feels that it's a city initiative rather than just an individual initiative, that the city is in charge of the process. And we are, it is, you are in effect, and the clerk's office and my office are coordinating the process. So I'm going to ask the clerk's office in the morning and the mayor's office. I think the mayor's even supposed to weigh in on identifying who in effect will actually be the people who go out to that council. It's not gonna take a lot of people, it's not gonna take a lot of time. Buckeye is 1 block long. I think you all know exactly where it is, behind the supermarket and off of J.L. Chestnut. That canvassing is meant to do a couple of things. It's meant to put those people on notice that their street will be, or is about to be, or is under consideration for being named. The name is under consideration for being changed. If it is changed, they have to notify all of their business and legal parties, third parties, that they have a new address. That's a big part of the significance. The other part is they have a chance to give their permission whether or not they think it ought to be named. As I said, Ms. Evans already did this, so I don't think that's a problem. But the application calls for the city sending people out. And I was just realizing this in the last week or so. Ms. Evans has paid her application fee. She stands ready, willing, and able. I've even gone so far as to put the Public Works Office on notice that I think the street's going to be changed with one sign. So it's not going to be an extensive amount, an exorbitant amount of cost. But until we do that one thing, that canvassing, and that information is supposed to come back in sealed envelopes, that's almost like a bid process.
Okay.
But when that comes back, then I present it to the council. I'll open it. Well, I take that back. I think it should be opened in the presence of the council so that we can, by the clerk and me, so that we can verify that indeed nobody is objecting to the street, on the street, objecting to the name being changed.
Okay.
That's the one item that I had not accomplished yet because I wanted to make sure I didn't get that wrong.
Right. Councilwoman Thomas, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to say this to our attorney, in the preview, in the near future, that's what you're doing now. When in the past, you've never done this, and you're doing it now the right way. So I hope that in the future, that anyone else that wants to change the name, that you represent the city of Selma, that you follow the same procedures that we do now, that you require this by the council. But it has better be done.
Okay, well, and I get that because it surprised me because I've been involved with this process once before, and you're absolutely right, it wasn't done that way.
Yeah.
But this will be done this way this time, and my goal is to get it done before Tuesday. I'd like to see you all able to vote on this Tuesday,
Okay.
because I think everything else is in order.
All right.
But that was on the agenda for information purposes only, is my point.
Yes, sir.
Post for Gilliland invoice for $1,500, $1,500.75. That's item number 2. That invoice is included in the information sent to you for the items, the actions inventory there. There are about 12, 15 items inventory at $150 an hour for 9.5 hours, and some copying of black and white photocopies, 25 cents a copy, 300 copies, $75.75. I'm presenting that invoice to you for your consideration and approval. Item number 3, resolution R 185-20/21. Can you hear me okay?
I can, but I don't know if anybody else can.
I'll use this.
Can you hear him, is what I'm saying?
I can hear
You-
you.
okay, you
I'll use
can-
this because of the mask.
Yeah.
I don't want to take it off.
He was just asking, could you hear Councilwoman Thomas? Okay.
Can you hear me better now? Councilwoman Thomas?
I can hear you, but I'm trying to see on my computer.
Okay.
The Wi-Fi is not.
All right. Resolution 185-20/21, garbage initiative, and the item number 4, the LDI contract, and item number 5, the ordinance for garbage initiative, are back on my agenda to present to you tonight, just for purposes of alerting you to the fact that I have one more pass through all of those documents, the process, contract, and ordinance, as well as the resolution for declaration of payment, if you so choose, payment of delinquent fees for garbage customers to be recovered by the city at a cost to be billed to the debtor, including processing fees, and if the monies are not paid, attachment of a lien to the property for collection by the city. So the process allows, and this is something I don't think that may be shown through very brightly during the public hearings, that we're not interested in taking people's property. We want to pay for garbage collection. And the city's first effort will be to attempt to collect the money, not to automatically tax a lien on anybody's property, but to collect the money due. The problem being, and I talked with Matt McGanch today of LDI and over the phone. He sent me some information. I didn't even have a chance to finish reviewing it, but he told me what he was sending. He sent me information totaling the amount of customers they have. I think he said it was about 3,019 customers. They were expected to have all total in the beginning 6,000 customers. There are some 600 people who are delinquent. That's burning a hole in his profit margin. There is no profit margin right now. He's losing money. He's refused or postponed collecting rollout carts to give people one less excuse to put their garbage in a rollout cart and have it picked up. But that's costing him money. He told me today that there's a list of over 600 people. This is being viewed by us as a public health crisis, and it is, public health issue, and it is, and a financial issue, and it is. But if the contractor, not just LDI, if any contractor we're paying cannot make money picking up, collecting, and disposing of garbage, we will have to do this ourselves, ladies and gentlemen. And that's going to be a bit more expensive.
Let me ask you, okay, so right now, we're talking about resolution R185-20/21. That's the resolution to declare public purpose. That's the resolution that we're discussing. Okay, right now, do you have language in the resolution? Maybe I'm missing what you just said just then about us seeking to recover those delinquent fees from the citizen that didn't pay, and then maybe possibly having to place a lien. Is that language within?
That language is in the process portion of the 68-page document for the garbage improvement process. If it needs to be included in the resolution, I'll be sure to add.
I think if that were placed in the resolution, and I cannot speak for everybody, but I know when we had these meetings, I heard the readiness from the council. I believe if that was placed in there, then perhaps this could move along.
It'll take this. It'll take some keystrokes on the computer tomorrow.
Okay, just to have, make sure that language is in there, making sure that though we're not just paying somebody's garbage bill, but we are going to make an attempt to collect on these fees and those recourse if we don't collect from them.
And we're going to do more to make an attempt to collect. We're either going to collect or the reason only reason this can work is if we're dealing with property owners. That's what the ordinance puts into play. Property owners, you can't attach a lien on some tenant or landlord who doesn't own the property. That's why all this dovetails with each other. The process, the contract, and the order.
But this resolution, right, this is what we get LDI pay.
Yes.
All right, and so if we place that language in there, that'll push this.
Not a problem.
all the way.
Not a problem.
Any council members have any
I'll make a
questions?
note. I'll make a note of that now.
Okay,
My suggestion, I saw this, and my concern was that it was already $35,000 taken out as against it, and asset for garbage collection. So, is that what it was planned to be used for to pay the legal bill, 35,000, which we have, I'd like to ask the interim treasurer, if you see that in the budget.
$35,000.
Yes, and I think it was under, in our budget, under 42840, and that says, garbage collected, $35,000.
I'll let him finish this and I'm gonna.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, any other questions? And he can come in and answer that for me, Councilman Thompson, so we can move on. Any other questions? All right. proceed with the next item.
Item four, the LDI contract, that's where we will put in writing what we just talked about in the resolution, what their responsibilities are to the city, and we revised that contract generously, I'll put it that way. There were questions about garbage being dropped on the streets when the rollout car was being dumped into the truck. I actually watched a truck last Friday pick up garbage 2 doors down from my house to see what was gonna happen, because I saw the garbage on the ground next to the truck. Now, I don't know if they saw me or recognized me, I don't know. They stopped, picked up the garbage, put it in the car, and turned the car back over and dumped in the truck. That's one of the things that citizens have complained about. It's also one of the things we visited in drafting this contract before the public hearing, that garbage accidentally dropped onto the streets by the collector would have to be picked up and not just driven off the left. But that contract includes all the things we're talking about in the resolution, as well as the terms and conditions between the city and the vendor. I encourage you to read the contract. It's not nearly as long as the 68-page document. Not nearly as long. Nearly as long. But there are some clauses we included specifically this time around for the first time to hold the vendor more accountable, but also obviously in a contract, both parties are held accountable.
Solid waste collection and disposal agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
Item number 5 is the ordinance for garbage initiative. And I want to say this too at this point because it's important. I believe the Public Works Committee met with each of those public hearings. Councilman Carmichael, I'm not sure about Councilwoman Thomas, Councilman Randolph, but Councilman Carmichael was taking notes. Councilwoman and Councilman Carmichael, I'm going to request, I don't know if you sent me all those notes. I tried to take notes the last meeting we had that you were reading. I didn't know if you finished. I would like for you to send me those because I have to make at least one more pass between now and Monday through the contract ordinance and the rest, make sure everything is complete.
We did not, we had one more meeting to discuss, and we're not able to finish that last meeting.
But I mean, you had notes is what I'm getting at.
Yes.
Would you send me?
But we need to discuss that.
I'll discuss them with you anytime, anywhere. I'd just like you to send them to me as well.
Yeah, well, I'm not talking about you, I'm talking about.
I've asked for you, Councilwoman Thompson and Councilman Randolph, if you have any additional notes you took or questions to send those to me.
And what I'm saying is we have to have one more public works committee.
I'm there, I'm with you.
And we'll get them together.
I'm with you whenever you're ready. I'm with you whenever you're ready. But it'll help me to be better prepared for the meeting if I know what you want me to help answer, is all I was saying.
Okay, yeah, I'll get to you.
Yeah, I was taking notes, but I didn't think we were finished.
Okay, I'll make a comment this time.
And the ordinance is item number 5 for the garbage initiative. The ordinance sets forth the specific changes we're talking about in the contract and the resolution, councilperson. And it includes not only garbage, but trash and junk vehicles as well. Title 13, section 13 of your municipal ordinances is the garbage, trash, and junk cars section. All of those were reviewed in the process of presenting a new ordinance to you. Someone was asking me about where we got this from. We used our own old ordinance as a template we started with our own whole ordinance and decided to see, we were looking to see what ways it could be improved and changed. And the basic improvements and changes were in accordance with the contract and the resolution and the purposes of the process to begin with. Question?
Yes, sir. So the ordinance that the one you're doing now for us to look at is compared to our city ordinance.
It compares very favorably with our original ordinance, section 13. Item number 6, any other questions? Item number 6, the jail lease agreement. We actually have 2 agreements. There's an original jail lease agreement and a 15-day lease, 15-day extension. And here's why. On Friday of last week, well, before that, let me back up. We were in discussions with the county attorney, John Kelly, about the basis for their cost structures, how they arrived at the cost that we were being billed in the overall jail lease contract. It's $130,000, $100,000 for use of 8 spaces at the jail for adults, and I don't know that there's a limit on the number of spaces for city juveniles. We don't have juvenile court in the city. That's a district court function. But the purpose of asking for support, financial support from the city by the county at the juvenile detention center was the statement that I've recently gotten supplemental information to help confirm that some 80 or 85% of the juveniles at the detention facility were from the city of Selma. They're spending, what I was told, somewhere in the neighborhood of $1.2 million, and was asking us for $30,000. There have been discussions with the county attorney, Marcus Hanna at the Juvenile Detention Center, Virginia Blackwell, the attorney for the Sheriff's Department, by me, and the mayor with Mr. Hanna, and me with John Kelly and Virginia Blackwell. And what they're saying is that they wanted a document executed by the 1st of December. They were saying they had trouble last year getting a signed document, although we paid them. I'm still trying to wrap my head around that and still doing research on documentation. But we paid them last year. They said they didn't have a written agreement, and that was a question concerning liability for mainly medical expenses for prisoners if there was a need for emergency medical treatment. The jail is going to have to solve those costs. So we owe them money. The only question is, what was a fair amount? That's the information I was looking to get as we were negotiating, moving towards a December 1st deadline. Then all of a sudden, the issue came to the forefront that amount may not have even been budgeted in our fiscal year 2022 budget. And that brought me to a grinding halt. Both Shakir and the treasurer and I talked, but I'm going to let them speak for themselves. I can't speak for the financial aspects of it intelligently enough. They're here, they can do that. So in the meantime, we recently had an issue at the jail where we were about to get city inmates turned away. And that's when a conversation was had between the mayor, me, the sheriff's office or the sheriff's attorney, and we were told point blank, either sign an agreement or we're going to stop taking city inmates. So a 15-day extension was signed with the intent of coming to this body tonight to ask you to ratify and affirm that action so we can get people locked up who have been arrested. That's on my report, in my report. So is the original $130,000 jail lease contract for your consideration and approval on Tuesday night. And I'll be glad to answer whatever questions you might have about that.
Just for clarity, City Council, there are 2 agreements in this packet that the attorney has sent us. The first agreement is the temporary agreement, which has already been signed and entered into by the city. We need to come back and make that one retroactive. That was just the extension to make sure we had somewhere for our prisoners to be
Through the 15th of December.
through the 15th of December. So we'll need to come back on Tuesday and make that one retroactive. That was just $5,400 and some cents for that. And then the other agreement that the attorney has been speaking of is the actual lease agreement between Dallas County and the city of Selma. That's the more long-term agreement. That is the one we need to actually take a vote on whether or not we choose to enter into agreement with them for that specified period of time. But the first vote we need to take is to vote retroactively to approve the contract and the agreement for the temporary space with the jail. I just want to make sure everybody understood those two different issues going on. Go ahead, Councilwoman Thomas.
And my question is to the treasurer, in the previous, time when the city was here on, in the budget year, we always said that, amount in our budget for the jail. So this time, if you go back from, I think it was, you compare with the year 2019 and 2020, budget, we always had their amount in there, so I'm trying to say, if we're gonna do a new agreement, the saying based on the figure, we're gonna continue, present.
And also, if you remember, Councilwoman Thomas, he mentioned about the $30,000
Juvenile detention center.
to be added to the $100,000 that was already up. So this would be a little bit of a different agreement than what we normally enter into, because you got that $30,000 increase. Am I correct?
No, actually, it's the same agreement.
So it's the same thing.
It was in two parts. It was in two parts before. It was the same agreement in two parts.
So we've always taken care of juvenile.
Adult and juvenile detention, and incarceration.
So you said we had two different parts previously.
The contract was it separated out adult from juvenile detention expenses, that's all.
Okay, so you're requesting exactly what then?
The request overall was for $130,000.
For $130,000.
100 adult prisoners, 30,000 juvenile detention.
Do you recall what the previous amount? that-
130,000. It was actually up as high as $200,000 previously, but the amount of jail spaces was reduced
Yeah.
from 16, I believe, to 8.
So it's $130,000.
It's 130 total.
Okay, so you're asking us to approve.
And it won't even be 130 if you pay this 15-day extension, it'll be 130 minus that amount.
Councilwoman Thomas.
And that's what I was saying, President, it has always been in the juvenile and the jail in our budget, since I've been up here, so I'm trying to figure out how do we, end up with not having that in the budget. It's always, and I was
Mr. Campbell, are you able to answer that right now, or?
We have $130,000 allocated to the jail contract.
Okay, so so we just need to approve the actual language of the contract. The money's already been approved in the budget now, so we're fine, we just need to approve the actual document. Okay, that's good. All right, you can choose your next item, unless you go ahead. I'm sure, Ms. Campbell.
And then I also want to answer your question about the garbage collection. Yeah, we don't have that within our budget this year for that revenue line item. We don't have that $35,000 within our budget this year for that line item, but we did have it in the previous year.
and that's what I was talking about, because when we were looking at the budget, I noticed that it was in there, and so now you're saying it's not in there, it's $35,000. So can you tell me, did you take it, was it removed out of the budget during the time?
No, ma'am. It's not in the budget that was sent to me as the finalization either.
Oh, yeah, so it was sent to you, the budget was sent to you showing that it's not in.
Yes.
Okay, well, I have a budget that I will show you that it was in there, so I will, we just move on from there, we talk about it.
Whenever we have our budget discussion, we need to make sure we include the other figures. Okay, that's all. We can take it. All right, let's go.
Item number 7 is the opioid.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman, Councilman Thomas.
I have a question about the negotiation of this contract. You said that, the amount was reduced from 200,000 to 130,000. And the amount of spaces was reduced from 16 to 8.
The amount of adult spaces is generally separated from juvenile detention center. I did not see and have yet to see in any agreement a certain number of juvenile spaces. The preponderance of those spaces, according to Mr. Hannah, in the juvenile detention center are filled by the city of Selma residents. That's what he was saying.
Okay, I just want to make sure that the amount that y'all came up with,
It was $200,000 originally for just the adult, the detention of adult inmates at 16 inmates
right?
instead of 100,000 now for 8 inmates.
Thank you. See,
I didn't negotiate that, but that's what it is. The item number 7 is an opioid settlement announcement update. I was asked about this, I think one of the last council meetings. And the letter is self-explanatory. Let me summarize it. You can read, I think it's just 2 pages. What it says is that the state Attorney General Marshall, has reached an agreement with the firm handling the class action opioid litigation, and the details are being finalized. The distribution to Alabama cities and counties will be the recommendation is going to be an acceptance of an agreement with the Attorney General of the state that will allow cities and counties to realize part of the damages secured as a result of their participation in the opioid litigation. That has been a settlement. We don't have particulars. As soon as I get them, I'll bring it back to you.
thank you. And I saw it set for trial in April
I think, yes,
2022, I think.
April 27th,
Okay.
April 2022. Item number 8, hands are dry. Item number 8 is the declaration of surplus or unneeded property. Chief Fulford asked, I think it was on Wednesday, if I would include this resolution tonight with my report because of some personal property that's piled up around the police station that he doesn't need and can't use. I asked specifically, was it to be sold or destroyed or what? He said, we can't sell it, I just want to get rid of it. He's already talked with the public works director about picking it up. I don't know what we do with discarded property. I just know that if it's discarded, we shouldn't be reselling it, but there could be liability issues. So I want to make sure if it's discarded, that it's taken to the inner construction demolition landfill. I don't see giving stuff away like that because there's always a liability issue.
All right, see, Councilwoman Thomas, hands up.
Can you repeat that again? You said that Chief Booker had something, what is it?
Personal property, it's listed in the resolution, 45 chairs, 5 doors, 1 refrigerator, 1 basketball goal, 15 desks, multiple pallets, and broken books.
Those are not gonna be, those are some of the old stuff that we get out there on the side of Green.
Yes, sir.
Well, I asked him to send me the list. I'm using his representation.
We
I
seen
haven't seen it.
Yeah, we
You
seen it.
on the job.
That's good. I was just saying.
Then you can tell me whether or not it should be thrown away.
Yeah, we seen it, we seen it.
Okay, but that's the resolution 27-21/22, and I'm presenting it for your consideration and approval on Tuesday. What was presented to me earlier, yesterday and today, is what I mentioned as item number 9 that was not on my list. It's a representation from HSA, Hogstone and Associate Engineers, and in a letter addressed to the Mayor, Mayor James Perkins, who's also the superintendent of the Waterworks and Sewer Board. And the letter regards Clean Water State Revolving Loan Project. Project number is listed there on Franklin Street Sewage Pump Station. We're being asked, in effect, to look at vacating or allowing, Mr. Hall, are you asking for a vacation or an easement? of 30 feet by 30 feet, 20 feet wide through the alley. 900 square feet. This property is proposed for a pump station. The alley may have been abandoned at some point, and there is an awning constructed across it. The recommendation is for the city to transfer ownership of the property. The Selma Waterworks, after speaking with the board attorney, this must be done in accordance with current laws affecting land transfer between two public entities. They contacted the land surveyor who will perform a survey next week and furnish a meets and bounds legal description. And I defer you to Mr. Hall. I defer to Mr. Hall.
Can y'all hear me? Do I need to turn this on?
You need to use the light on this.
Okay. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. What is the Selma Waterworks, y'all are aware, by on Franklin Street, by the police station, right where there's a cave in the street, there's actually a pump station just, to the south of that. It's under the street. It's been there since the early 80s. And, it's not constructed to correct engineering standards. I didn't have anything to do with it, by the way. It's dangerous to the waterworks personnel. That thing is 22 feet from the ground. All you see on top of the ground is a manhole ring and cover. It's been in the plans for the waterworks for several years to replace it. Finally got funding for it. Now we need a piece of property, not in the street. We diligently searched, and I'm talking about the last 2 years. Oh, 3 years, okay. So the waterworks west is the last 3 years, we've tried to acquire both properties. What we've, has come up is title problems for some, unwilling sellers and some. And so we've chosen this as an option. There should be pictures in there. It's just a little small piece of property along the south boundary of the police department. In our research, we found that very possibly there's an attic under. And I'm not sure that would be a man, may or may not. That would involve 30 by 30 day attic. There's a drawing of a man probably goes back to the 1800s. It shows the 20-foot in an alley. So that would affect 20-foot wide by 30-foot long, and then the other property is 10-foot by 30 feet. Look, there's this photo you see this big kind of beige hand-looking vehicle on there. We did our best to show where it would be the property, and y'all are familiar with the back of police department. It's not for anybody parks in cars now. There's some old abandoned vehicles there, junk vehicles. So it wouldn't affect any of the current operations of the police station. We would we have to run the sewer line down the alley from out to Franklin Street. While we do that, we take care of the cave in Franklin Street, which is also a danger. It's been there for a while, and the problem there is sewer line is so big. But waterworks, grant title would need to be transferred rather than vacated to the waterworks. So I don't know. That's what the problem of our man. I'll answer any questions.
Any questions, council?
Yeah. Question is, the portion of that property that you're talking about, that is part of city property.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, when we're dealing with city property. Have you, in that area? Does it runs into, you say it runs into an alley?
2/3 of the property we want looks like it's in an attic, dedicated city attic,
Yes.
which are all over the city.
Let me ask you this question. does this property, you know, Clyde has a portion right behind.
It would, it join, it doesn't really join up to his, I know his property. This joins up to what used to be a used car lot. I don't think Clyde owns this property, all right? That's right, it doesn't have anything to do with his property.
Okay, well, the reason why I asked you is because of state law and up on the city property that the water board is interested in. The water board is owned by a private company.
No, it's not.
So water board is not.
It's a public entity. Yes.
So let me ask this question before I straight. You're saying that the water board needs the property.
Yes, ma'am.
And it has something to do with the equipment that you're trying to take about, Franklin Street
I'll take it out of the middle of Franklin Street.
and place it over there on that property.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, my question is to you, what are you asking this body of council to do? Or what are you asking, what is the water board asking us? For the property, are they willing to, because we have to do an ordinance on that property.
Yeah, I'm, whatever the council needs to do legally, y'all have to do it, but we want it done properly.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And, I think the purpose of this is, to meeting here tonight, we need your, intent, vote of confidence to get it done. We realize, I'm not aware of the legal process, but we want to do it. We want to do it in accordance with this
Oh,
process.
it's on the book.
But, I got you, but the waterworks is definitely a public entity. They're subject to all the state laws that the city needs. Board members are appointed by the city council. So that makes it easier to transfer ownership.
And Engineer Hall stated the requirements for this grant that's being sought is that there be a transfer of ownership.
The grant has been awarded.
It's been awarded, so that's the requirement is that it be transferred. So that's essentially what y'all asking, that we do whatever is legally necessary to transfer the property.
Right, and it needs to be done as expeditiously as possible. We've got a surveyor coming, next week, I talked to him today, Mayor, and, to do we need a meets and bounds legal description, of the property, we'll set the corners, like that, real quick, and I'm assuming y'all will probably need that, whatever legal way you need to do it.
And that's what I'm saying, it has to be done by an ordinance. If we're gonna decide to, we want to,
Vote on this, that's it.
yes, it has to be done by an ordinance, and they have to sample ordinance in their fund with the city property. So our attorney, have to put out ordinance, but to turn this property over, if it's city property, we just can't do this property.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I think that we need to have a vote of confidence to go and move forward in order for the time to go and do this, or what will need to be done. Time is not with us with this here, like, the law said, we've been dealing with it for 3 years. We had several different areas where we looked at, and every time we move to these other areas, it always got a setback or something. If I'm not mistaken, I think that we got I think we got timing.
Yeah, they're after us to get this, maybe as quick as possible.
And very dangerous, on frankly, it's caving in down there now.
So that I can have some clarity here. So what you're asking for, and we understand it has to be done by ordinance and all that, but you're asking, because this is time sensitive, y'all are requesting a vote of confidence, and then we go and do the proper resolution to make that retroactive or whatever.
That's correct.
That's okay.
We're asking the city attorney to draft a letter of intent that will be approved by council on Tuesday, so that we can move forward, putting the legal documents together, to handle one, because there has to be a survey done. And so before we start spending money on it, we want to make certain that the council is willing to go forward with the transfer.
Yeah, we will
That's all,
ultimately-
that's all that's required, yes.
but we will, okay, Council Carmichael.
That's all I'll say. I think we just need to, approve this letter or whatever they have.
Approve the request.
Give them more things today.
Okay, all right. I think everybody understands that. Go ahead, Councilman.
My question is this body, I understand what you're saying, but I want us to be on the record, right? And the thing is, are we giving the property to them?
Yes, Mr.
That's
President.
what are we giving the property? We are declaring that this property is.
For public purpose, and then we can our intent to transfer ownership.
I think whatever legal, yeah, like, if we gotta sell it, not we can sell it.
And that's what I'm saying.
If you could, city attorney, perhaps draft up something for us to vote on, not necessarily the ordinance, but some language that we can vote on that we approve, a memorandum of understanding for the lawyer or something.
I think the letter of intent was suffice.
Okay,
And I can draft that.
and then we approve the letter of intent.
That's your proof.
Okay, all right. All right, thank you. Were those all your items? You got some? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Mr. Hall, I want to ask, I have a lot of citizens, that big project that you all did on AG.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Smith, she lives in 702. Her residence was a part of it, but no one came back and did anything in her house. And she wanted someone to come out there and look and see exactly what's going on. Like she said, the main drain line is in her front door. It's 702 acres.
I'll come out there tomorrow.
Okay,
I'll write
thank
that
you.
down.
That's all.
All right, thank you, engineer. All right, were those all your items, Mr. Attorney?
Yes.
All right,
Ask this question?
yes, ma'am.
For
Go ahead.
the record, be clear. Now, you are attorney, and, when you draw up that, will you make sure that we're not giving the property when you want to do that? You know,
Make sure what, Madam Councilwoman?
when you draw up the agreement that we're saying, make sure that in there, we're not giving this property, we're selling it for, we got to give them a dollar something.
It will be included in the letter of intent.
Nominal consideration. All right. And Mr. Attorney, while here, I talked to one of our citizens, Ms. Angie Towns, and she would like for us to work together on some like a resolution. We have approval of a unity prayer event that's coming up in 2022. I will give her your phone number and perhaps conference with you and her and see if we can draft some type of resolution for the council's eventually.
You said unity.
Unity, some type, I don't want to say it wrong, but they'll know that.
I will press you on characterizing.
Thank you.
But her name is Annie
Ms.
Towns,
Ann Towns.
TOWNS.
Yeah, TOWNS.
Got it.
And we'll work on preparing that and getting that for the council. I just want to make you aware, that's all her, I've been telling her I was going to get with you, and I want to make sure I did that.
Got it.
All right, council, that concludes the attorney's report. You got one, go ahead, Council.
Attorney Madison, you had mentioned that you bring back those things, service, and the expenditure of all these funds. Is that something that could happen?
Once you listen to the treasurer's report tonight, I'll be happy to do it. I just want to make sure I'm not asking you to pay for stuff we don't have money to pay for.
Okay.
I also said I would talk to him, and I had not done that yet. I was out of town for a while, but I'll talk with him, and the drafting of the contract is not the issue. I told you there was some language in it that had me confused. We even discussed what language exactly that was. And I would like to speak with him and ask him what he's doing, because when I put it in a contract, as you'll see later on with another contract, what's in the contract, the four corners of the contract is very, very important. I don't have any problem drafting the contract. That's not the issue. It's what's going in it.
Why have you spoken before?
I haven't done it. I'll give him a call. I just haven't done it.
All right, let's move on. Before we ask the mayor to come forward, we do, council, in public, want to welcome, for the first time, in our official capacity, as our brand new City of Selma, Alabama treasurer. Everyone, let's welcome. We went through an extensive process. And we thank you for what you did for us, but we're glad to have our own. And so we're grateful that she's here with us this evening. And I don't know if we've officially done it yet, again, but also see in the audience our newly appointed tax collector. We have both of those individuals here with us to assist and help us move the city's business forward. And we're very grateful to have both of them on board and part of the City of Selma family. So with that, at this time, we're going to welcome our mayor for his report tonight.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Council's trying to get your attention.
Oh, I'm sorry.
When you say something, I know we get this kind of trigger.
I wasn't, did we vote? We didn't vote on the resolution of 20.
We didn't have a first. Now we have. But you can.
Okay. Well, so we need to vote on a resolution.
But she's our new treasurer. She's not the interim, she's actually the treasurer.
Right.
And we have to have a resolution.
We did take a vote on a resolution appointing her as treasurer. I thought we
But we
did.
didn't sign, we didn't have it. So we didn't sign.
Oh, she has to sign, right? Okay, I
That's
got
what I'm saying, for the record.
you. Now I got you. Okay, we'll take care of that. That's administrative. Yes, ma'am. Okay, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We got to bring. Well, first off, let me acknowledge. I appreciate you acknowledging the treasurer, tax collector, on board and doing his work. We moving forward. The first item on the agenda is the here in place line of storm drainage pipe for water bill, and that's going to be very hard. We're going to bring him back to address that this time.
Okay, this came in on Lauderdale Street there by the courthouse. The council authorized funding back in July or August maybe. We got 3 bids from 3 different companies. We had 5 companies to solicit bid documents, 3 submitted them. That's pretty good at this day and time. Low bidder was a company called Suncoast Infrastructure. They specialize in lining of the pipes, it's twin, up 24-inch pipe on the ground, rubber dig the street up. We'll build the lining, which is less expensive and it's better and it's less disruptive to traffic. We had budgeted, the low bid was $162,016, $162,016. The amount budgeted for construction, $147,400, which means that we came in $14,616 above budget. And at this time, we would like to recommend that the council approve the award of this contract. And I'm assuming y'all will have to figure out a way to pay that for
That is correct. These 2 projects, one that we spoke of previously on Franklin, one Lauderdale. I'm really anxious, really pressing engineer to get these off the table so we can get that pumping station out of Franklin and get that cave in resolved. and then get the one on Franklin resolved. Then the next thing we can do, hopefully we'll spend some of the rest of the money on infrastructure and do a resurfacing of our downtown streets. I think that would just go over really well for the citizens, and it would be a really good project. And so I'm hoping that we can move quickly, and I've asked Ray to expedite, to push, not to declare an emergency, but to continue to move these projects so that we can get this done before March. That's our goal. Yes, Councilman.
My question is, project moving forward, why is it every time we have a project, it comes in over? Are you doing the state? Or we do, state bid?
Well, let me say this, they don't always come in over. Usually when I do them, they come in pretty close or they come in slightly under. This is about 8% over. I'm sorry, in fact, about 10% over. And, you know, construction costs have gone out of sight nationwide. All of this material is going in this lining that's actually turns out to be plastic type fiberglass. That stuff has gone way out of sight. You know, we got 3 bids. And when I give an estimate, I think my estimate's usually pretty close. Many times they're slightly above. Times we're in, be honest.
And the approach that we're taking, we actually saving hundreds of thousands of dollars by not paving the street up from that location down to Dallas, because that would have been the alternative. So to take the lining approach to this, to try to get it done, I think this is both savings and money, really to save a lot of need to disturb traffic flow during the process.
I have a question. How much how much of all this money we gave to do this project? And now how much more money that we need to, the amount we need to do this, to carry on?
Okay, the original amount, and the original amount proposed to the council of the total project, which included engineering, that's what we do, engineering and inspection. The total amount, including engineering and inspection, 166,560. With this bid, the new total amount will be 181,176. So your council will need an additional 14,616. $14,616.
And then you can move forward.
Yes, and we think they can get started in January. And like the mayor said, the intention is to get this done before 1st of March, which it should be done.
Let me ask this. I can't remember, how did we, the amount that we approved, how, we figured it out, 40, so was that unappropriate? How did we agree with that?
I think it was over.
It was 40.
Yes.
Okay, so that was combined. That's
Combined, I think it's
okay.
$16.
Me. You know, I would like to have the discussion. This is a perfect, right in the sweet spot project, the rescue funds. You know, want to talk about maybe saving our old base fund, doing something else. It'd be a perfect expenditure for those funds.
Now you talk. I like what you just said.
Every once in a
We
while.
got to try to keep $1,000.
Okay, so let me make sure I'm hearing this straight. So the original vote that we took, we used our oil lease money to serve. Councilman Harville, you're interested in possibly not using the oil lease money and now making this American Rescue Plan expense for the entire amount, including this 14,600, whatever additional amount that was. The whole thing. Okay. Just want to make sure that's true. Anybody questions about
I
that?
just want to make sure that we make sure we can use it or this American Rescue money?
I'm 100% sure.
We do have secured a consultant now, Mr. Scott. If we could maybe put in a request with him within the next 24 hours, hopefully he can give us something. But I think I'm kind of agreeing with you. I think this is one of those things that can be spent on. But let's just get our consultant to give us a nod on it. We can vote on this too.
It's sanitary. It's something,
It's stormwater.
this is stormwater.
Our sign responsibility, something, is information. And also to verify that that the right documentation is before you so that we can get you to vote on the specific use of funds. That's right.
And we'll also have to take a vote to, the vote that we previously took, we'll have to reverse that to now use these funds for this. Okay, all right.
Reversal again.
Oh, that's fine.
The next item is the information item. And it's an invoice, that is for council. So that is an active information. Then the next, I think, 2, 3, 4 items are coming out of planning and development. And so, Daniel, if you would unmute, and go ahead and let's give the information specific to items 3, which is to accept the grant award for the Alabama Historic Commission for the FY 22 Historic Site Grant. Item 4 is the authorization to accept the grant from the Alabama State Council of the Arts for the Selma Arts History Community mural project. Item 5, authorization for application to take over hometown grant. Item 6, authorization to accept the grant award for the Alabama Historical Commission FY 21 certified local government grant for grant actions that we'll be asking for approval on. If you have any questions, no one's answer.
Can she kind of explain to us about those type of grants? Is it required any, matches or anything with those grants? Are they?
She is prepared to respond.
Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Okay, was the question, good evening, council and Mayor Perkins.
Yeah, the question was an explanation of each grant, and so I need to look at.
Okay, and was it regarding, the match portions, if any?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. Yes, sir. So, on resolution 1, R 128-21-22, which is the Alabama State Council of the Arts grant, we did bring you guys that to you guys for authorization. So you did authorize, a match, and that match for that grant, the grant award is $7,800. And that includes a $1,000 cash match out of line item 3.6,000.57160, and the remaining $11,000 in match is going to come from our partnerships with Arts Revive and Selma City Schools. So those are in-kind services that are going to go toward that match. So that's a $1,000 cash match for that grant. Do you guys have any questions about that one?
Yeah, let me ask you, will that come out of your planning development match, or will it have to come out of our general fund?
No, ma'am, we are taking that out of line item 3.6,000.57160 out of our planning and development budget.
Any other questions? Yes.
I just want to say thank you, Ms. Wooten, for including all that in the resolutions.
Yes.
Well, I'm trying to get to it now.
You're welcome. And I do think there was one more that had a match resolution, ma'am.
That's why I asked you, because I'm trying to get my Wi-Fi over here. I'm trying to get to it. That's why I asked you.
Okay. The other one that had a match was resolution R 124-21-22, and that was authorization to accept the grant award for the Alabama Historical Commission. And And that was the grant, you guys did the authorization to apply. And that was to do renovations to the Welcome Center. And we applied for $50,000 and we were awarded $15,500. And so that match would only be $5,000. And that's going to come out of line item 3.6000.57120, which is also budgeted.
Any other questions?
I'm sorry, there is one more with the match. Sorry, guys. Resolution R 129-2122, which is the authorization to accept the grant award from the Alabama Historical Commission Certified Local Government Grant. And basically that grant, they awarded us $1,530. And that's to basically put out materials, informational materials to residents and property owners in the historic districts, just notifying them that they are indeed in a historic district, what the requirements are with being a property owner in a historic district, what the process is to go through the certificate of appropriateness process, come before the historical commission before any work can commence. So it's basically for educational materials for the community. And so our cash match is only $520, which is going to come from line item 3-6000-57160. And then there's another $500 in kind, which is not a cash match. So that one has a $520 match. And that's for educational materials for property owners within the historic districts.
All of that is spelled out in the resolutions. You have also just note that you have two types of situations that you have. Three where we are accepting grants, and then you have one where we are applying.
Yes, and the T-Mobile grant, that's an authorization to apply. The max award amount for that one is $50,000, and it does not require a match.
Any other questions? Then we look forward to, we will ask council for favorable consideration of those items in the meeting on Tuesday. The next few items on my agenda are discussion items. And I won't go into a lot of detail, but I did want to have them on my agenda so that we would be able to have a conversation. But to make sure they were getting the whole issue at the second page. so that we can actually have a conversation about it. And I do expect the conversation with the treasurer that we will answer most of the budget issues and questions. But I do stress the council that we need a vote on the budget that's balanced so that we can move forward with appropriateness. The citywide camera system, I think we need to really mind down on this and make a decision. And I don't know how, council, on the last conversation we had, if we wanted to go into a public safety committee, I'd like to try to move it out of committee as fast as we can, so that we can get a decision on this. I do have some strong opinions about it, you are aware, and look forward to having a conversation. Hopefully we can come to some kind of resolve on that. On the College of Engineering, I came in late, we all know where I was. Congratulating my niece, Renetta, on her accomplishment as a judge. Perfect. I was running a little out behind, but when I came in, the city attorney was discussing the College of Engineering plan. Again, I want to commend the chair of the Works Committee, Councilman Carmichael, for his handling of public meetings. And I sincerely mean that. That was not an easy job, but he handled well, and I really marvel at that. So I'm hoping that we can get the ordinance passed, because this is such a massive change. The only way we're going to really iron the bugs out is we got to put it in place and use it. And so I'm hoping that we're not going to continue to try to get perfection, but let's let the staff get hands on it, begin to use it, apply it, and then we can iron the kinks out, iron the bugs out, if there are any at all. But there has been a good day of this process of the contract and of the ordinance, and I'm hoping that we can get an affirmative vote and it'll be out, once I know the citizens want it. And I want to commend code enforcement department, because we have had over 300 people to sign up for garbage cans in this process. And so they really are out there doing good work, getting people to get the garbage cans even before we have been able to get this implemented and executed. So I want to continue to press on that. I also recognize that the dirt pit, we still have to get the boring. We thought we had someone to do it. It didn't happen. I did acknowledge that we had the intention of getting it done at the end of the last meeting. We are still working on that to get someone to go out to the board to answer the question that Councilman Carmichael raised. On the fire chief appointment, I understand the interviews were last night. I was want to ask council, it seemed as though this process was a little different. I was under the impression that the committee was going to do all the interviews, but it seemed like the council and the appointing committee did interviews on that. And so I really want to kind of get a feel of where we are with that and how we choose to proceed with that.
From my understanding, I think we're at the phase now where you can have a conversation with all three of them. Like we originally had last time, you opted, not to the conversation, but you have an opportunity now to have your individual conversation with each one of them. And we're also awaiting the recommendation like we did previously. We're waiting the committee's recommendation to be presented to the council.
I will. Do we know their recommendation yet today? After the meeting, they got not reported out.
No, sir.
Hopefully they'll report out before Tuesday. And at the Tuesday meeting, I will acknowledge my intent whether to interview or other conversation. Okay. Thank you. On the other thing is that I have on my agenda to be the 21st anniversary of the Stop the Violence rally, Martin Luther King Jr. Day March and Caravan. This is Monday, January 17th, from Brown Chapel to Edmund Pettis Bridge. Celebration runs from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. And this is for more information, contact Reverend Michael Bowen, 334-505-1723. Share this flyer with me. I want to share with the community that this is an annual event that he's been doing. This is the 21st annual, so I just want to acknowledge that. That's all I have. Unless council has some questions.
I don't have any questions. Any questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor, we appreciate you. All right, council, let's now move on. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Mayor, I just want to thank you for the outstanding Christmas parade.
Oh, yes.
It was an awesome job, and the only thing I was upset a little bit about, my councilman gonna let me ride on the boat with him. If Lord willing, next year, I'm gonna have my own fun on the boat. I'm gonna have fun on the boat in the parade. He doesn't ride. No, but it was great. And the fireworks was great too. You go short. I enjoyed it, and I watched it from the bridge. We had so many people on the bridge. Lord, don't let nobody jump off there. But we had a lot of people on the bridge, and when I walked back to my car, people just say, how nice it was, people just talking, man, we do this more often, Every holiday, I was saying to myself, man, you got no fun like that. But I just want to thank y'all for doing an outstanding job, great job.
Well, let me say thank you for that and to acknowledge the team. I'm telling you, we got an awesome team. So, folks, they work really hard. And I won't get into all the names, but I want you to really be able to notice cleaning the streets, but I want you to notice how great participation well in public safety, all fire and police. I want you to notice, the work that was done in planning and development and the collaboration between all of these community agencies and departments. And every department in municipal government participated in this effort. So I want to thank the team. I want to thank the council for the cooperation to get it done and allow us to just, do the work. That's all we just want to, give us the money to let us do the work. And I think that works out just fine. That's what this is about. So I wanted to say that. And I also want to acknowledge the meeting that we had, President Dunn attended, represented the council, the city, the county, water board, housing authority, Craig Industrial Board, the Economic Development Authority. We got together to talk about the anticipation of the infrastructure money coming into our community. We're working collaboratively together to figure out how to make sure that we are not competing against one another, but cooperating to try to get something done. And now I want to ask the council for help on the I-14 project. Guys, we got to take it. We really need to go get this. And I'll mention more, I'll be talking more and more about it as we move through this process. But we really need to make sure that infrastructure money that comes into the state of Alabama, that I-14 actually comes to Selma. Not only that road comes to you, but we get two interstate exchanges in our area. And that is really important that we accomplish that. So I just want to say, listen, I think we got more on our side. I think we're moving in the right direction. I want to thank council, thank the citizens, and say for all of our success and challenges, we got it.
All right, thank you, Mayor. Oh, and council, if there are any, if you have like specific ideas that you want to use for infrastructure, Ms. Ellison sent out that spreadsheet. But you can talk to the mayor if there's something that you see and envision, a big project that you would like used for the infrastructure, mention it to him so that when he and Ms. Wood start putting things together, they may probably already have, but just give them an idea if you so choose. If there's something you would like for these infrastructure today, I got Councilman Carmichael to report that to Ms. Wood. He said Councilman Carmichael. Okay, good. But I'm sure they'll give us a little grace since we're not meeting until Tuesday. So they'll give us a little grace if you haven't gotten in by Tuesday. Go ahead and get it in. All right. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Mayor Perkins, for having the foresight to put together a meeting of that caliber. Because what he's trying to do, everybody, is so we won't be competing with one another. Selma is Dallas County. Dallas County is Selma. If there's no need for us to compete against each other, it's best that we work together as this. So thank you, Mayor, for putting that meeting together and putting it the way that it was. I appreciate that. And I'm sure the citizens appreciate you. Thanks, sir. All right, let's move on now to our business items. And Councilwoman Thomas, you have several different items. I know you added some, so you have the floor to take over each one of those items you would like to discuss.
Yeah. For this item number one is where every year, I don't too much asked by the council. Some council take part, some council don't. But I do this every year, and it serves the purpose of showing leadership up here in the city of Selma, helping family members that are not fortunate to have anything. Citizens be a part of it. Also, I will bring it before the body of the council Tuesday night, a line item that which I will give to the for Ward 7. And next, number 2, EMSS proposed a finance policy. In the finance policy, I can, we haven't voted on that yet. The policy that every city to have voted on that. And I just like for all the councils to look at that policy. Because there were some hard points that I've seen in that policy that for before we vote on it, let's make sure that, we understand that policy that they put in place for us about our finance, dealing with our treasury, our finance, that we do with city. That caught my eye, I got two times policy, and I think there's some things in there that the other council needs to look at before we vote on it, make sure we agree that we're done.
That's something like. Yes, okay.
The next thing is, I wanted to, about our policy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Can
I see you, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I just wanted to let you know, so my manager, Stephen Bonhagel, he said that he would love to be present for that finance committee meeting, and he wanted to be able to discuss any questions that you guys might have for that, so.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Next, I was reading, and I need to ask our training. In our policy, our personnel policy. When we get to the disciplinary, there's some things in that policy that I'm very concerned about. And I wanted to ask you, you look at that, disciplinary action, when criminal action or something that an employee does that works for the city. I want to know, do the personnel board be involved in our disciplinary action?
The personnel board can be involved in personnel disciplinary actions. It does not have to be. It depends on the type of action and what degree or what extent the disciplinary guidance. Some people think that everything is a grievance, but the personnel handbook sets out specific criteria for what's a grievance. Some people are entitled to a hearing, a predetermination hearing. The personnel board does not have to be involved at every step of disciplinary action, but definitely can be involved, and that's all set out in the handbook. At what stage they're involved.
And my question was to ask you as our attorney, isn't that the reason why we have these, select these boards? So when we have, disciplinary action, to be taken care with the employee, that there is being fair of a hearing, making a decision or something like that?
That's one of the main reasons for the board, yes.
Okay, because it was, the reason why I asked you that is because, I was looking at some things and, I never hear, we had some incidents before, and I never heard any, out of the personnel board or anybody, react to what we have in our policy.
I participated in a couple of disciplinary actions in the previous 6 months or a year where the board was involved.
So it does, so the
It
personnel
does
board
function.
is active.
It definitely functions. The question was, I think, recently, whether or not you had a full board, and some members had to be, the board.
So now we do that.
I believe so, but the board had to be reconstituted. There was not a full board, was one of the problems. But they have been active, not active on a day-to-day, week-to-week, month-to-month basis, but they have been involved with disciplinary action.
So basically, on any of our disciplinary action that we have as an employee, it is done through the HR department.
Yes, yes.
Right. Okay. Next, the reason why I'm concerned about, when I say employees of personnel gain, you know, the ethics commission do not play when it comes to dealing with the municipality. I was approached by a citizen, was talking about the property. They felt that it's not fair that an employee, if a loved one has passed and lost their property or something like that, it's not fair that an employee should be trying to help get rid of their family property. So I wanted to bring this to attention because of what what happens and it falls back on this body of civil Selma and the council. Nobody has the right to try to, if you're out doing work at the city, you don't have the right to try to, help someone else buy somebody else's property. So I just wanted to point that because, we wanted me to speak about it so that we can have to be very careful because we get to the explanation where we have employees using their personal name, trying to get rid of someone, family member property, it will be a problem. So
If you can relate the, in confidence, relate the specifics of
I will.
any situation, I'll be glad to look
I will
into it
come
and get
to
back to
you.
you. Sure, sure.
And I just wanted to know that right now with what's going on, you don't need to be a part of ethics violation. My next,
Councilwoman, I have a question, specifically, if you don't mind. Chair. I'm hearing you say an employee in the city, and that concerns me. And I hear you say that the employee was assisting someone else to get possession of property. Are you also saying that he was attempting to get possession of the property for themselves?
not for themselves.
Okay.
Not the employee, they was helping. You know how, when I say it like Mayor, it was like, the person, parent, they've been deceased for a while.
Yeah.
And you know how the parents deceased and then your property is there. And then like, we had an employee like doing coding, going out, looking at that day, you know, the list of stuff that we have on our list saying that, family member, you know, bad taxes or something like that. And it was shared to someone else about getting the property, and the family member was upset. And the family member asked me, said, well, Ms. Thomas, how can an employee work with the city try to help get rid of my family property? I said, well, that we don't do that. I say, she said, isn't that, we could turn it over to the head? I said, no. I said, well, I will put it on the agenda because the person lives in my ward and she's one of my constituents. And I said that, no one's supposed to be selling the property.
Okay, but they were not trying to get possession of the property for themselves.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And I was just asking for confidentially relaying of the information because I don't know what happened and I don't want to discuss something.
Well, I just don't want them, I don't want citizens to think that we in the business of trying to help get rid of their property. And if you want interested in buying, you can go down there yourself and look it up.
And as I was saying, let me find out what happened and I'll be glad to get back to you. I need to know the facts first, all of the facts.
I'll give y'all that.
Okay.
My last, one more thing that I asked my President Young to add on, it was the ordinance, the city ordinance of business located in a residence. You know, everybody knows previous that I brought before the body of the council, and I promised the citizens in that district of the resident that I would do a follow-up prior to coming up to the tax being renewed. And I did do what I was requested of the citizens. And I have some things that I would like to email to the mayor to see if we can get that more better taken care of respect in the community of this business. And I will be bringing back a report of all the incidents of the previous time up to the point. And we have a little more of the issues in that area that we need to take care of now. I'm going to ask Chief Wolford to work with me on that because it's still uncomfortable for some of the residents. Anytime we have a business there with 24 hours, they sell alcohol all night and all things happen in that area. And we are trying to protect the citizens. And I'm trying to do as a representative for the city of Selma of that district to make sure that no harm will come to any of those residents over there. But that concludes on my list.
Okay, thank you, Councilwoman Thomas. Are there any questions? All right, next up is number 5, Councilwoman Major James.
Okay, mine's very simple. I was just going to, ask the council to really look into only having one meeting during this holiday season. Pray that we can get everything in by, and Tuesday, because having a meeting on December 23rd is kind of, pushing. And I am everybody know that I love the holidays. And I want to spend them with my family as well as everybody else. And I think we can get the things done and meet after, because every major municipality or government shut down for the holidays. And I think if we can move these dates where we took with our last meeting for this year, and we meet after Christmas. That's just my opinion, but I pray that you all will go along with me.
It's a key thing with Ms. James, if we can get everything done on Tuesday, I think make that happen. I would love, but.
Yeah, I would love to, if we can have, get everything done and make it work.
But we always, if some come up that we need to have.
Yeah, just call me. I think we can get it done and let Tuesday be out of the way for the holiday.
Go ahead, man.
That's Friday, that month.
Yeah, but y'all talking about taking on.
All right, any other comments about that or questions? All right, Councilman Michael Johnson with the budget for 2022.
Certain people rushing everything, they take them all night, I'm gonna have it fast, when they all.
Council President Young. All right, we're gonna pass, he's got 3 business items here, we'll pass those and go to committee reports. Are there any committee reports? Anybody?
Yes, I have.
Okay, go ahead, Council.
I am so honored to let everyone know, and I'm gonna get Captain Johnson and President Billy Young, I'm gonna have a meeting on the 1st of January. I have some young people tonight to serve with me on the program, and they are some babies I've been looking at during the youth ambassador. I had the opportunity to go to every school. I was Morgan Academy, I went to Medview, I went to Keys, I went to Downers County, Southside, and Selma High, and have spoken with everyone there, and we have talked about putting the youth government back in action. They're very excited. I'm excited about doing it. Everybody know me, I love to take it to the high level. So when I be calling on you all know that your baby's gonna be in good hands, and I'm gonna take it to the high level. I got 2 shoes back on that baby, so I can roll. So I'm excited about that, but I'm gonna have a meeting I'll get with Councilman Johnson and President Billy Young, who's very interested in working with me on this, and I just want to just embrace it and get our kids back into learning about government.
Are you gonna be having, you gonna start doing your baptism?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
Yes, ma'am.
It needs to be done.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we were just on committee reports, Council President Young, we skipped yours if you want to go there.
Committee reports, we will be having this public safety committee, meeting to address, some of those things that the mayor, talked about, and some other things coming up, so, we're gonna try to get that set up soon, hopefully Tuesday, I have a definitive date, for everybody, because we're gonna have to take up a lot of business on the public safety. So we'll try to have a date for y'all for Tuesday. And that's all I think I have for public safety. At the beginning of the year, we'll start up with the Selma Civilian Review Board. We'll give them the information that they need to have, to get that board organized. I believe so.
Mr. President, if I might suggest, I would like to be involved in the organizational meeting.
Absolutely.
I have some information to share that was obtained at the Municipal Attorneys Conference.
Okay, thank you so much. Absolutely.
Yes.
Okay.
I just want, this Councilman, let me know, because I was, for many years on this show. We've done a lot of things, to kids, a lot of places, and a lot of programs, so I appreciate that. Pandemic kind of held us back a little bit there, so I'm kind of aware of that. So I think, young part of it, you know, they start now, let me go ahead of time, not to follow that.
Are you not?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it would be nice, so it ain't like you've been sitting down, doing a lot of programs and everything. I'll bring you already know, so people don't know, you know, thank you.
Yeah, so we'd like to try to close out this garbage initiative, so I'm hoping Tuesday at 5 o'clock before the council meeting, we go ahead and work out, I passed you those notes from our 3 hearings, I gave you those notes and you got the notes, so.
What's my name?
So if we can just get together, Attorney Madison, if you have any questions about any of that stuff, leading up to Tuesday, maybe we can try to get all this worked out by Tuesday and come with a recommendation to the council Tuesday night, to go ahead and move this thing.
Tuesday, 5 p.m. right here.
Tuesday, 5 p.m. right here, yes. Is that okay with it? Okay. Like,
Any other committee?
okay.
Well, I wonder, maybe something, come on. I know we got trash all over the city. But maybe other announcement, telling people where their trash gonna be picked. There's a lot of people, they've been calling me, and I know, on the edge of the drive, they've been digging up the money in hand. And that's the truth. I know business is something that go down and go down too. You know, and then because the holiday was up, but we need to somehow reach out to our city. I was hearing noise about it. I was hearing noise about it. Some got to be done, but we got to private contract. All this stuff, all whatever. We just have to make a tough decision. Because I was told that we only got 2 trucks with it.
3 trucks running to that.
We might have to make a tough decision.
And he said he was
First time here.
First year here,
First time here.
I put in several work,
About the garbage, I'm picking up garbage.
pick up trash piles.
Trash pile.
Right.
Yeah, trash pile.
I thought it was-
No, I'm talking about trash pile.
Okay, I thought it was garbage.
Said we'll try to work this weekend.
Yeah, they're just getting big, and I told people holidays, Christmas parades and everything, just got do that. And just right quick, one announcement for Ward 3, we're gonna be, it may be raining on a Saturday, but we're gonna, get out and do some picking up and, clean up streets and trash and garbage and whatever we can Saturday morning, at 8 o'clock in Ward 3, so, if anybody can help us there.
We did, our sponsor needs it, but she does things. And then trash bag.
Like,
And I come out, but they ain't like that.
and that's, Snow's Cleaning Service donating their time on that Saturday, so we got that entire company, all those guys that are gonna come out Saturday and help us get cleaned up in their cars.
And also we've been asking citizens to take a part in it too, the streets that they live on. You know, when we already got the tools and everything that you need, and if you see your street, need to be picked up with the litter, it takes the community, it takes everybody to be a part of it. You don't have to pay for the bags and the sticks, I bring them, deliver them to you, and you can call me, and I'll be back to pick up sticks up and this, clean up the streets, you know. So we take all of us together.
Okay, any other committees?
Yeah, new developments, try to meet budget.
Okay.
Okay, Councilwoman James?
Okay, well, what time?
After school, okay, whenever we get out of school.
I have an hour lunch break this morning.
Okay,
This is the community development
community
committee.
development, because there's some stuff coming down the pipeline, just want to let y'all know. Councilman Thomas, Diane Thomas.
So this will be the first meeting,
Yes.
Okay.
First meeting. Okay.
all right.
He'll get the time out.
Yeah, get the time out to you now.
All right, go ahead, Councilman Harville.
I'm on the finance committee, we have some additional budget work I know that we do to, figure out our policies and procedures for our rescue funds that we're gonna be receiving. You know, part of ensuring the budget up is getting those policies and procedures in place. I think we need to reach out to Mr. Scott and invite him to that meeting. I'm gonna try to do it between Christmas and New Year's. Maybe the Tuesday, 28th, somewhere around. But I'm gonna shoot for, so we can. That's the council meeting. Oh, we do have a council meeting.
We gotta decide.
We got that.
We gotta decide. All right, well, you know we're gonna have a meeting. soon.
Yes, yeah, we have several.
All right, any other committees? Any other committees? All right, was it, yes, ma'am, go ahead. Okay. Thank you, Councilman Thomas. All right. All right, and, did anybody discuss any of my items or?
No.
You know, all right, well, very quickly, the New Year's Day holiday, we know we were talking about possibly giving the city employees off on that Friday. We already gave them off for Friday, but we're gonna give them off Monday as well. We need to vote on the Monday. The county is off on Friday and Monday as well, so we're trying to follow suit with the county. So I was gonna bring that up as a recommendation for you all to vote on Tuesday, allowing them, we've already approved Friday, but we should approve for our employees that Monday as well. For New Year's, New Year's.
Christmas, we already approved.
We already approved, right, and so we do the same thing for New Year's, we've already done Friday, we just approved Monday, thank you. All right, and tied to that, if we do vote on, giving them, making the holiday on that Monday after New Year's, then we would have to extend the date for everybody to pay their taxes. Because taxes would be due, I believe, on the 31st. And so we would just need to extend, and this is not anything new. The city has done this before, through the years, where they just extended it. And we would extend it to the 4th, because that's when we would be open. Give the 3rd off, we would not be open, we want to the 4th. So I just want y'all to consider that over the weekend. If you don't like it, call me and we'll talk about it. I know, I've been told that's been done in the past, but it's not new. Go ahead, Councilman.
And I did want to bring it to, I know Sam and he's always looking out for the workers. Since we have our treasurer here and we have our administrator working together, you know, it's been on my heart. And then Sam brought up about, you know, Christmas is time to be forgiven. I just wanted to ask this by the council. That, please take me on that this trailer to look at. That we will be able to give employees. Not too much, we will be able to give them $500 for the family member.
500 to every employee.
Yes. Can we do that? I'm saying, do we have the money? I don't want to, I'm just, get on my heart, and Sam was saying too. And two, with a family member in the house, sometimes those people got more than one kid. And the reason why I feel like this is because some of our employees, we haven't really gave them a break. And, I like to follow what my heart and what the Lord put on me. And I wanted to say this tonight. They need a $500.
We'll look into it.
Huh?
We'll look into it. Take a reference.
Okay.
Thank you.
I would love to see that.
And let me just say, thank you, Councilman Johnson, thank you, Mayor. And I think the treasurer, who's a former state employee, knows that through the state, every year around December, we get an additional $100 and so it would be great to start looking into that, especially since, like Councilman Thomas said, we didn't get raises. So thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Councilman Thomas. Hey, Councilman Randolph, thank you all. I think this is excellent. And whatever we can do to take care of the folks and take care of you. All right, anything else? One more thing. Next year, it's my hope that every month we're going to be looking at our code and where it needs to be updated and where some things might need to be replaced and removed. But I'm going to get with the mayor and let him talk to his respective department heads and have certain code sections that they looked at that need to be changed. You know, throughout this past year, we've had several instances where people come in and talk about the business license. They talk about the fire code. They talk about different things. It's time for us now to start looking at what we need to do as a legislative body, which is to review policy and to update policy. So hopefully, maybe once a month, we'll try to get through each one, because I'm sure some of the departments already have stuff ready. But we'll look at that to see what types of changes we need to do. So that's my hope that we'll be able to do that in 2022. I know like the noise ordinance, the leash law, all those different things need to be reviewed and updated to come to terms with the city that we live in now. Because a lot of those laws were passed many, many years ago, and things are different than they were many, many years ago. So we need to have the law reflect the current times. Go ahead, Councilwoman Thomas.
And just like you said, what you just said, exactly, that's a good thing that we're doing because in the past years, we have not looked at, is that the legislative body, we said, making the code and allow for the city to make sure that we can.
And it will be a very slow and deliberate process as it's supposed to be. We're a deliberative body, so we have to take time on this, but know that we're about to address it. All right, is there anything else?
Our councilperson, please look at the email that Alex was sent us last week about what we need to do on Tuesday.
All right, Attorney Madison, did you have your hand up?
As not only the expert suggested, you got one councilman that's been bugging me for about 6 months now about revising the code. And what I've done as part of my goals for the next year, fiscal year, is I've told the mayor that I'd like to address with each department head the code sections applicable to their department. There'll be department specific, but we'll be going through the entirety of the city department.
Very good, we're all on the same page. Anything else? Here, no further business. This work session of the Selma City Council is hereby adjourned.